Welcome to Smocking 101, and this is lesson 3. And on lesson 3 we're going to learn the trellis stitch. We're going to do a 2-step, a 3-step, a 4-step. We'll keep going up probably to a 6 or 7-step probably, and then I'll show you some other things that you can do with the trellis stitch. Okay, we're going to begin with a 2-step half space trellis stitch. We're going to come up on row 4. We're going to come up in the valley. Going to take your needle to that left pleat straight across. And we're going to begin with an up cable. Now, since we're working with a half space, some of you may have pleated your half space rows in there, and this will help you if you have. If you haven't, then you'll just be eyeballing this. And what you're going to do is you're going to think, you're going to have to watch, and in your mind, eyeball that half space all the way across. For some people it might help if you take a washable marker or an air erase marker and draw that line all the way across. You can do that, that's fine. Or you can just eyeball it like me. Okay, we have to fit in 2 trellis stitches before we're going to do another cable. So you're going to work on, then you're going to go down a 1/4 space, and you're going to pick up that next pleat, pull across, and you're going to bring your thread back up, bite into the next pleat over, keeping your thread up. Now you're on the half space. Bring that needle across. Now you're going to do a down cable. There is your 2-step half space trellis. Now we're going to work back up to the row. So you're going to go halfway between your middle line and your guide row on that 1/4 space. Go back up, thread will be down. Keep your thread down and go up to your guide row. And now you're going to do an up cable. Once again, you're going to come down the 1/4 space. Keep your needle horizontal when you go through that plate. Then work down to the half space. And do a down cable. Work back up to the 1/4 space, back up to the top, your guide row, and do an up cable. And that's all there is to it, to a 2-space half-step trellis. I want you to work this full row across, which will give you some good practice, and then we will move on to a 3-step trellis stitch. Okay, we're ready to begin the 3-step trellis stitch, and on this stitch we'll be using the full row. So I've moved down to the very next row, and we'll be working between these 2 rows. Bring your thread up in the valley, take it to that left pleat, do an up cable. Okay, now we're going to have to eyeball between this row and this row. We're going to divide it in our mind in thirds. Okay, so we're going to have 3 trellis stitches before we're going to do another cable stitch. So we're going to go down about a third, take it straight across, go down another third, and our third stitch will be on the next guide row. There is our 3-step trellis. We're going to do a down cable, and we're going to work back up to that row, dividing it in thirds. Do an up cable, and carry it back down. Keep that thread up when you're going down. There's stitch 1, stitch 2, stitch 3 on the guide row. Take a cable across, keep your thread down, and work stitch 1, stitch 2, stitch 3, and take a cable. So I want you to then work the 3-step trellis all the way across this full row for practice. Okay, we're ready to do a 4-step trellis, and the 4-step trellis begins just like the 2-step trellis. So we're going to bring our needle up again through that valley, take it to the left pleat, and think of doing a 2-step trellis. You're going to take a cable across, you're going to go on the quarter space down, you're going to go on the half space down, and now instead of taking another cable stitch, you're going to go down another quarter space, for your 3rd stitch, and then your last stitch will be down to the guide row. That's your 4th trellis. Do a down cable, and now work back up to that guide row in the same way. Go up a quarter space, up to the half space, up another quarter, and back up to your guide row. Take an up cable, and then you're going to work back down. Quarter, half, 3/4, full space down to the bottom. Take a cable stitch, and then work your way right back up. Keeping your needle, you want your needle parallel. And that's all there is to a 4-step trellis. So for practice, I want you to work a full row of doing your 4-step trellis. Next we'll move on to a 6-step trellis.